Hello everyone, welcome back to Anshul Gupta MD, your trusted resource on everything related to thyroid. Today I'm going to talk about an important topic about 7 foods that you need to avoid if you are going through low thyroid or hypothyroidism condition. Now food is medicine, but wrong foods can harm your thyroid and worsen your hypothyroidism. So it is very important to know which food you need to avoid. Hello, I'm Dr. Anshul Gupta. I'm a functional medicine expert. I help people reverse their chronic thyroid conditions by making personalized functional medicine plans. So let's talk about foods which we need to avoid and why you need to avoid if you have hypothyroidism. So the number one food that you need to avoid today itself is gluten. Gluten is a protein which is found in several grains. The majority of these grains are wheat, barley, rye. So it is very important to avoid all these gluten containing grains. Now, the most common question most people have is that why? Why we need to avoid gluten? The reason we need to avoid gluten is that gluten has shown in several people, especially who have hypothyroidism, that is damaging the thyroid and making their condition worse. The reason being, gluten leads to something called leaky gut as well as food sensitivities. And they start a very slow destruction of your thyroid gland over the course of weeks to months. And that leads to hypothyroidism and worsening of thyroid condition. The reason present day gluten is bad for our body is that it has been modified from its natural version through the course of several decades that we have used gluten and modified wheat in this whole process. So the current gluten is totally different from what it was before, and that's the reason it is very harmful for our body. So it is very important to avoid gluten on a complete basis. The second food to avoid is dairy. Yes, dairy is also very inflammatory to your body and causes a lot of inflammation in the body, and that's the reason it causes damage to the thyroid gland and makes the hypothyroidism worse. So again, very important to avoid dairy. In that aspect, you have to avoid milk, your cheese, your yogurts, all of those things comes into the part of the dairy. The reason dairy has to be avoided is that the current production of dairy, the manner it is happening, it causes too much inflammation in the body. The reason being, all this livestock which is producing dairy is being fed all these grains and wrong foods, which causes inflammation in their body, and that comes out in the milk that we are drinking. That is very important reason to avoid dairy completely, because some of these dairies might have hormones in them, including xenoestrogens. And these xenoestrogens can create a lot of different problems for your thyroid gland. Even dairy, which is labeled as free of hormones, still can have high amount of estrogens in them, and that can be very inflammatory to your body. So very important to avoid dairy. The third food to avoid is sugar. Yes, we are consuming tons and tons of sugar in all different fashions, whether it is added sugar like white sugar, brown sugar, honey, agave, maple syrup, all of them have sugar, and each and every day we are consuming tons of sugar. Sugar hijacks your immune system and turns it against your own thyroid gland and starts the slow destruction of the thyroid gland that leads to hypothyroidism. Sugar also reduces your immunity and your immune system, so your body is not able to fight off different parasites and bad bacteria that again damages your gut and your body and leads to hypothyroidism. So it is very important to again avoid any kind of sugar that you are consuming, so again your thyroid gets better. The fourth food to avoid in this situation is soy. Yes, soy is another food which is again very detrimental for hypothyroidism patients. It is very important to avoid soy if you have hypothyroidism condition, because soy is very highly inflammatory to your thyroid condition. The current soy, the way it is produced, they use a lot of chemicals, especially glycosides, when they are spraying and making soy. And that's the reason it causes leaky gut problems and destroys your thyroid gland. Soy is again high in phytoestrogens, and these estrogen levels again destroys your thyroid gland and causes inflammation in your body. Now, even non-GMO soy can be harmful for your body, because again, it causes various hormonal dysfunction in your body and is not good for hypothyroidism patients. The next food to avoid is caffeine. Yes, caffeinated beverages we are consuming on the daily basis, and most people actually with hypothyroidism are feeling tired and they need that morning caffeine to actually just get up and get going. But in the long term basis, this caffeine is the reason that they're getting tired each and every day. The reason being is that caffeine is very stimulatory to your central nervous system as well as your adrenal glands. So, for a short amount of time, it gives you a good boost into your energy, but suddenly you have a big drop in the energy because your body cannot sustain. And your adrenals are empty and your hormones are empty because of the caffeine. And that's the reason you feel tired. But it is very important to get off caffeine on a very slow basis, because if you do it very quickly, then you are going to see withdrawal reactions. The other thing to also know is that caffeine slows down the absorption of thyroid medicine from your gut. So if you're taking your thyroid medicine with tea or coffee in the morning, then again, you are doing a disservice to your body. And it's very important to again stop caffeinated beverages in the morning, especially if you are taking a thyroid medicine. The next thing you need to avoid is alcohol. Yes, alcohol is really bad for your thyroid gland because it doesn't let your thyroid gland to function properly. Alcohol suppresses the production of the thyroid hormone from your thyroid gland, and also it doesn't let your body to use the thyroid hormone which is available in your bloodstream. So even though you might have adequate amount of thyroid hormone that you are consuming, but your body cannot utilize that thyroid hormone if you are consuming alcohol on the regular basis. So that's the reason, again, it is very important to avoid alcohol or reduce the amount of alcohol that you're consuming if you have hypothyroidism. The last food you need to avoid if you have hypothyroidism is processed food and processed meats. The more processed foods that you are eating, they are high in different kind of chemicals, they are high in inflammatory compounds, and they are high in trans fats. All of these situations cause high inflammation in your body and also responsible for causing hypothyroidism and destroys your thyroid gland. So it is very important to completely avoid all of these foods from your diet because they are definitely causing your hypothyroidism. So you see, now you know all of these foods are so bad for your thyroid gland and what you need to avoid today itself to improve your hypothyroidism. I hope you like this video. If you do, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.